10 guns. People carry every single one of them for self-defense right now. And in a real fight, every one of them is more likely to get you hurt than to save you. If you carry one of these, you need to know exactly why before your life depends on it. Number 10. The Hi-Point C9 is cheap because it's built cheaply. The Hi-Point C9 is one of the cheapest centerfire 9mm on the market, and it shows. It's heavy for its caliber, over 29 ounces unloaded, heavier than a full-size Glock 17, built from a zinc alloy slide that adds bulk without adding reliability. Its track record in independent testing is inconsistent enough that several defensive firearms trainers won't allow students to bring one to class. A self-defense gun has exactly one job: fire every single time you pull the trigger. The C9's reputation doesn't inspire that confidence. The Hi-Point community will tell you their gun has never jammed, and some owners do report thousands of rounds without issue. The problem is that self-defense isn't a sample size. It's a single data point. You don't get to average out your misfires over 1,000 rounds when your life is on the line right now. Consistency matters more than price, and at $150, the C9 is priced at what it costs to build, not what it costs when it fails. Number 9. Any .25 ACP pocket pistol. Stopping power that doesn't stop anything. The .25 ACP was designed in 1905. It has been outclassed by better cartridges for the better part of a century, and it's still being sold in tiny pocket pistols, marketed as easy to carry. The problem is energy. Most .25 ACP loads generate well under 100 foot-pounds at the muzzle, a fraction of what a standard 9mm delivers. For reference, the FBI's minimum penetration standard for defensive ammunition is 12 inches of ballistic gelatin. Most .25 ACP loads struggle to hit 9 inches from a 2-inch barrel. The argument for the .25 ACP is always the same. Any gun is better than no gun. That's technically true. But the follow-up question nobody asks is whether a gun that reliably fails to stop a threat is meaningfully better than no gun, or whether it just gives you false confidence going into a situation where you needed something that actually works. A .380 ACP pocket pistol is the same size, same weight, and costs roughly the same. There is no practical reason to choose .25 ACP over it in 2026. Number 8. .410 Judge-style revolvers. A shotgun shell that isn't a shotgun. These revolvers look intimidating. A shotgun shell and a handgun. The physics don't cooperate. A .410 shell needs barrel length to pattern properly, and a 2 to 3 inch revolver barrel doesn't give the shot enough distance to spread usefully or enough velocity to penetrate reliably. Independent ballistic testing consistently shows .410 birdshot from a judge producing penetration well below the FBI's 12-inch minimum. You end up with low energy, unpredictable patterning, and a 5-shot cylinder in a gun the size of a brick. The .45 Colt cylinder on a judge is genuinely capable. That cartridge has real stopping power from a revolver barrel. But if you're buying a judge to shoot .410 shells because it looks like a hand cannon, you've bought the wrong tool for the wrong reason. A SIG P365 or Smith & Wesson Shield is half the size, holds more rounds, and fires a cartridge with documented stopping effectiveness. The judge wins on intimidation. It loses on almost everything that actually matters in a defensive encounter. Number 7. Bond Arms style Derringers. 2 shots, no second chances. Derringers have a certain Old West cool factor, and Bond Arms in particular makes genuinely well-crafted guns. That doesn't fix the fundamental problem. 2 shots, a single action-only trigger that requires manual cocking between shots, and a grip so small that recoil control is a real challenge even for experienced shooters. In .45, Colt or .410, felt recoil from a Derringer is significant enough that a second aim shot on a moving target is a different skill set from anything you'd practice at a normal range. The scenario that exposes the Derringer's limits isn't a Hollywood gunfight. It's the much more common defensive situation where a threat doesn't go down immediately after the first shot, which happens more often than people assume, even with effective ammunition. If your first 2 rounds don't resolve the situation, you are now standing in front of a threat, reloading a break-action pistol under extreme stress, with adrenaline affecting your fine motor control. That's not a defensive tool. That's a backup to a backup being used as a primary. Number 6, Mossberg Shockwave/Remington. TAC-14 style firearms. A 12 gauge you can't actually aim. Short-barreled, stockless 12-gauge firearms are genuinely fun to shoot at the range. They are a poor choice for home defense. Without a shoulder stock, you're managing full 12-gauge recoil through your wrists and arms rather than your shoulder, which makes follow-up shots slower and accuracy under stress significantly worse than a comparable stock shotgun. The bird's head grip, while distinctive, doesn't give you the leverage that a pistol grip or full stock provides against the violence of a 12-gauge cycling. Home defense scenarios almost always happen at close range, in low light, under extreme stress. At those distances and in those conditions, the margin for error is narrower than at the range, not wider. A Mossberg 500 with an 18.5-inch barrel and a full stock costs less than a Shockwave, is easier to aim, easier to control, and is more likely to put rounds where you need them when your hands are shaking. The Shockwave is a range toy that gets marketed as a tactical tool. They are not the same thing. Number 5, decocker failure, surplus pistols, Cs-52, Tokarev TT-33. Surplus guns with a documented safety problem. Surplus military pistols have a genuine following, and many of them are perfectly fine for range use or collecting. These two have specific, documented mechanical issues that make them risky as daily carry guns. The CZ-52's roller locking system is mechanically interesting, but its decocker has a well-documented history of allowing the firing pin to fall during the decocking process, meaning the gun can fire when you're trying to make it safe. That's not a rumor. It's documented in enough incidents that gunsmiths routinely replace the CZ-52's firing pin with a titanium version specifically to reduce the risk. The Tokarev TT-33 predates modern drop safety standards entirely. Soviet military designers weren't thinking about what happens when a soldier drops a pistol on a hard surface. They were thinking about whether it would fire reliably in a trench. A hard drop onto a chambered TT-33 can theoretically cause an unintended discharge. Combine that with decades-old surplus ammunition that has inconsistent primer sensitivity, and you have a pistol that was excellent for its era and genuinely risky for yours. Keep them. Shoot them at the range. Don't trust either one as your carry gun. Number 4, any .22 LR as a primary carry gun. Rimfire reliability in a gun meant to save your life. The .22 LR is the most produced cartridge on Earth, and it's an excellent round for training, plinking, and small game. As a primary self-defense round, it has a fundamental mechanical weakness. Rimfire priming is inherently less consistent than centerfire ignition. In a rimfire cartridge, the priming compound is distributed around the rim of the case. If the striker doesn't hit a spot with adequate compound coverage, the round doesn't fire. Documented misfire rates for bulk .22 LR ammunition run from 1 to 2% in premium loads, up to 8 to 10% in budget bulk packs. 1 to 2% sounds small until you do the math. If you carry 8 rounds and have a 2% misfire rate, the probability that at least one round fails to fire is about 15%. In a defensive encounter where you may fire 2 or 3 rounds, that's a real number. Premium defensive .22 LR ammunition, CCI Stingers for example, reduces that risk significantly. But the argument for .22 LR as a carry round is almost always about recoil sensitivity or gun size. And both of those problems have better solutions. A .380 ACP in a comparable platform is a center-fire cartridge with dramatically better reliability and meaningfully better terminal performance. Number 3, pocket-sized rifle-caliber pistols. A rifle round crammed into a barrel too short to use it. Squeezing a 5.56 or 7.62 by 39 rifle cartridge into a pistol-length barrel sounds powerful on paper. The reality is that a rifle cartridge is engineered to burn powder over a specific barrel length, typically 16 to 20 inches. When you cut that to 6 or 8 inches, the powder is still burning when the bullet exits the muzzle. You get an enormous fireball, a concussive blast that is genuinely damaging to hearing even outdoors, and ballistic performance that often fails to match what a comparable handgun cartridge produces from a 4-inch barrel. The practical carry problems compound the ballistic ones. These firearms are heavy, difficult to conceal without printing, obviously, and require either a pistol brace or no stock at all, making accurate fire under stress significantly harder than with a shouldered long gun. You've taken a rifle cartridge, removed the barrel length that makes it effective, removed the stock that makes it accurate, and added weight and length that make it hard to conceal. What's left is a gun that's worse than a handgun at handgun distances and worse than a rifle at rifle distances. It's a novelty in a tactical costume. Number 2, Magnum Revolvers, .44 mag and up, for EDC, more gun than any real-world fight requires. A .44 Magnum is an excellent firearm for specific purposes: hunting medium to large game, wilderness defense against bears, and handgun metallic silhouette competition. It is a poor choice for everyday concealed carry in an urban or suburban environment. The recoil is heavy enough that most shooters, even experienced ones, take longer to reacquire their sight picture between shots compared to a 9mm or .45 ACP. In a defensive shooting where multiple rounds may be necessary, that time matters. The size and weight compound the problem. A full-size .44 Magnum revolver weighs 48 ounces or more unloaded. Concealing that requires a specific wardrobe and a level of commitment most people abandon within weeks. The guns that get carried reliably are compact and light, not theoretically powerful. A .357 Magnum in a compact snub nose is already more gun than most defensive situations call for, and even that is difficult to shoot accurately under stress for most people. The .44 Magnum is a magnificent firearm in bear country. Carrying one in a strip mall parking lot doesn't make you safer. It makes you the person with the gun that's too heavy to draw smoothly when it counts. Number 1. Whatever's in the junk drawer: Jennings, Raven, Lorson, Brico. The gun was bought once, loaded once, and never tested. This is the single most carried category of bad defensive guns in America, and it isn't close. Jennings, Raven, Lorson, and Brico were collectively known in the gun industry as the Ring of Fire manufacturers, a group of California-based companies that produced inexpensive zinc alloy handguns through the 1980s and 1990s. Several of them went out of business specifically because of reliability lawsuits and product defect claims. The guns they left behind are still out there, in glove box, nightstand, and waistband, because they're cheap enough that they get bought impulsively and never thought about again. The failure modes are well documented: extraction failures that leave a spent casing in the chamber, safety mechanisms that break or wear to the point of being unreliable, barrels that shoot to a different point of impact than the sights indicate. Because at the price point these were built to, precision wasn't the priority. Slides that crack under sustained use. And because the manufacturers are gone or out of the handgun business, there are no replacement parts and no warranty. The single most dangerous assumption in self-defense is trusting a gun you have never tested. A defensive firearm should be fired regularly, not because you need to be a competition shooter, but because you need to know with absolute certainty that it will cycle your chosen ammunition without failure. A gun that's been loaded and sitting in a nightstand for 3 years with no range time is not a defensive tool. It's a liability with a trigger. And a cheap gun that's never been tested is the most dangerous version of that problem, because it might fail in a way that injures you rather than protects you. None of these guns is useless in every context. Some are genuinely fun at the range. A few are solid choices for specific situations. The .44 Magnum in bear country, the Derringer is a fourth backup nobody ever expects. What none of them are is a reliable answer to the one question that actually matters when it counts. Will this gun fire right now, every single time? If you're carrying one of these as your primary defensive firearm, that's not a character flaw. It's an information gap, and now you don't have that gap anymore. Comment below with what you actually carry, and if you want to know exactly which guns the experts recommend instead and why they made the list, that video is right here.